Yo, what's up guys? Chase the Bro here, and welcome to another Elden Ring update video. Today they released patch 1.12, and it honestly changes a ton of weapons and PvP mechanics. I really wasn't expecting this right before the DLC, but it is nice to have as we're diving into it. We're going to be doing a lot of co-op and invasions, so it makes sense they wanted to balance it right before the release of the add-on. Starting off, we have the added support for Shadow of the Erdtree, of course, and then they added 5 new hairstyles to the game. I actually really like the long one. There weren't a lot of long hairstyles that I like to use for my characters, but at least we have some variety now. They also added new map functions and changed the way the summoning pool features work, which is nice. I don't do a lot of random co-op, but being able to individually choose which summoning pool you want enabled and disabled is very good. And they also allowed your active summoning pools to be carried over to New Game Plus, which is nice. You don't have to actually go manually do that yourself. Okay, I was really hoping they'd do something like this for invasions though. It doesn't seem like they did. I know I'm a little bit biased towards invasions, but I was hoping we could maybe select areas that we don't want to invade as well. Maybe one day they'll add that, but for now it's nice to have these for the people that enjoy random co-op. They also added some inventory features, so when you obtain an item now, it's marked with an exclamation point, so it's pretty easy to find newly obtained items. A new tab called Recent Items has been added to review recently obtained items. Okay, that's pretty nice, so everything you've picked up recently will be in the new tab. The display settings can now be changed from the display tab in the system menu. They added new feature to summon Spectral Steed during the Elden Beast boss battle. I always said that would work in that room. It's so big and Elden Beast always runs away from you. Added new feature to the Colosseum. Crafted consumable items that have been used during a battle will be replenished at the end of your session. That's honestly amazing. I'd like the same for invasions. And to finish off the inventory features, they added support for the Arabic language, which is great. Having more languages in the game just allows for everyone to play it, more players to invade. Now moving on to the weapon adjustments, after being affected by madness and or sleep status effects, the status effect buildup will be halted for a short period of time. That is great because you could easily sleep someone and hit them with something like the Ripple Halberd and allow more sleep buildup while they're still waking up from the animation. So it just made it so powerful. I feel like Sleep and Madness are definitely the strongest stats. They increased the poise damage of some attacks against other players of the following weapon types. Great swords. Really, we're buffing poise damage on some of the bigger weapons already. Nice. And then we have hammers. They deserve that. Flails, great hammers, colossal weapons, great spears, and halberds. And it's only some attacks, so we're definitely going to have to test out which ones have the poise changes. But overall, I'm always a fan of some of the bigger weapons being harder to hyper armor trade. So it says here they adjusted the poise damage of some dual wield attacks against other players, and they include all these weapon classes, but then right below they increased the poise damage against other players from dual wielded attacks, and they only include the axes, hammers, halberds, and reapers, meaning the other weapons probably got a nerf to their poise damage in terms of the dual wield setup. Honestly, I don't use dual wield setups of great swords, great hammers, or great axes much. I know they can hurt, and they have good jumping attacks, so we'll see how the poise damage nerf changes that. Increased poise damage of axes against other players. Nice. That actually helps it a lot, honestly. That class is just so underused. Decrease the damage of dual wield attacks against other players of all weapon types. This is the patch that I've been waiting for since the release of Elden Ring. Dual wield setups have always just been the highest damage output. It was like they had 2 weapons and they just doubled the damage for it. So I really do hope they balance this pretty well. Dual wield jumping attacks and dual wield spears have been kind of the bane of invading, honestly. If someone stuns you and you get some guy just jumping with 2 colossals jumping attacking you, it does like half your HP. Dual wield spears have been on top for so long in terms of burst damage and just chase down. I feel like dual wield setups definitely needed the nerf. They also decreased the poise damage of some attacks against other players with the following weapon types. So we have daggers, straight swords, thrusting swords, pretty much all of the lighter weapon classes it seems. So some of their attacks are going to have less poise damage. I'm kind of a fan of that, especially for thrusting swords, because that was doing 108 poise damage in your offhand. That needs to go. I wonder if they're still going to keep the higher than 133 poise damage when two-handed. I assume so, but I guess we'll see what they want. I feel like the nerfs might come more in the form of the one-handed versions, but we'll see. They also decreased the poise value, not poise damage, of some attack motions against other players, meaning the amount of poise the weapon grants you when swinging seems to have been nerfed a little bit. So all the hyper armor breakpoints that I've gotten used to, I'm definitely going to have to relearn if that is the case. I no longer know what my greatsword gives me when swinging it. That will be interesting to test out. They decrease the damage of some attacks against other players with the heavy thrusting sword type, just in general. They decrease the damage of the dual wield attacks against other players with the following weapon types, specifically spears and great spears. Oh, that is glorious. Mostly for spears. Dual spears in chase downs, like teams just chasing you down, are just never fun, honestly. They also decrease the damage animation motion of the following weapon types when another player is stunned by a two-handed heavy running attack, fist and claws. Oh, that's probably to remove the running heavy to heavy attack true combo. I'm assuming because it's specifically on the fists and claws. I'm going to have to test that out to be sure, but that could be a pretty good nerf. Those are really strong. Getting a running heavy off on like the Raptor Talons, allowing for a second heavy, and if they're bleed infused, it usually bleeds. It's really powerful. They also decrease the effects of Baldachin's Blessing and Radiant Baldachin's Blessing to increase the poise value and physical damage negation in PvP. Oh, I guess some people were abusing that somehow. I never ran into anybody using that. That's funny. Next up, we have the skill adjustments. This will be interesting. Spinning slash decreased damage. I seen that coming. I wonder if they're also going to change the amount of buildup on Frostbite and Bleed from it, because it does apply that still in one combo usually. So we'll see how much they nerf Spinning Slash. Flaming Strike, decreased damage. That is fair. You know, I use these. They're really strong. They are. Rain of Arrows got a decrease to its damage and poise damage, so it might not keep people locked in place when you use the Ash anymore. They might be able to just roll out if they increased or decreased the poise damage enough. Cursed Blood Slash, decreased damage. You know what? I'll take that. I don't even use it a lot, but sometimes when you're fighting a team and someone's just kind of spamming that, it can hurt a lot, and it bleeds so quickly, so I'll take that. Oh my god. Transient Moonlight, decreased damage. There's no way they finally nerfed the Moonveil. 2 years later. Thank you so much, though. If I could ask for another thing to be in here, please say that they got the poise damage nerfed on the magic part. That'd be amazing. Lightning Storm. Oh, they decreased the poise damage on the Lightning Storm Ash. It might not combo anymore. Spear Call Ritual got decreased poise damage. That is so welcome. It's honestly really strong, and I'm glad I don't run into a lot of people doing it. But if you just had a group all spamming that, it staggers you for so long. They could just chain into each other and all just hit L2 with the Spear Call Ritual from afar. You'd probably die. Ancient Lightning Spear got a decrease to damage. That's fair. The range of the lock-on in this game and their ability to just have someone in the back holding that fully charged and sniping someone from far away, it can do immense damage. It kind of needed that. Radahn's Rain as well decreased damage and poise damage, kind of the same nerf that the Rain of Arrows took expected. Decreased damage animation motion when stunning other players for spinning weapon. Oh, probably because of the Renala staff, right? Or I guess it works really well. You can make a build entirely off spinning weapon. They also decreased the physical block rate for Black Flame Protection and decreased the poise damage of Bestial Sling. This is amazing. I love that change. Thank you. Next up, we have the general balance adjustments, which affect probably the moveset of the weapon because it's going to affect both PvE and PvP. So we have adjusted turning speed when using dual-wielded heavy thrusting swords. Wonder if that's more turning speed or less. I don't use that setup ever, but I don't remember it having an amazing turning speed in particular, but we'll see. Increased dexterity scaling when assigning Ashes of War with corresponding weapon affinities. So I'm going to assume they mean that the Ash of War itself will hurt more if it's a dexterity scaling Ash and you choose Keen for the weapon. Like you choose a dexterity scaling for the Ash, it's going to increase the Ash of War damage. That one's going to need some in-depth testing. I'm going to have to do some Ashes of War with the heavy version versus the dexterity version and see how that goes. They increase stamina consumption when guarding against attacks of the following weapon types. So if you block against greatswords, curved greatswords, great axes, great hammers, you're going to lose more stamina now. Great, a stamina damage buff to my greatsword class. I love it. Increase the speed of some attacks of the following weapons. Axes, great axes, really. I guess some of the attacks, not all. Hammers, flails, reapers. Honestly, reapers needed faster attacks. That is definitely welcome. Increase the damage of charge attacks of the following weapon types. Axes, great axes, and some colossal weapons. So the charged heavies, basically. I feel like, yeah, you can't buff axes and hammers enough. They need more. Give it to them. Increase the turning speed of normal attacks of the Reaper weapon type. Oh, that's nice. I've always found like the neutral R1 kind of lacking. So it getting a speed boost maybe and better turning. If you can just manually turn it, that's pretty nice. Increase the damage of whips weapon type except the Urumi. Well, to be fair, the Urumi is amazing. It actually has the R2 to R1 combo. It far excels over the other whips in my opinion. So that's fair. Increase the speed of consecutive attacks for the following weapon types. Light bows and longbows. Yeah, I don't use them much. In a 1v1, they can be good. They can be very good if you're using like the stat arrows. So that'll be different. Increase the poise damage of the torch's weapon type. We get this update the day after I dropped the St. Trina's torch video. Are you kidding? They also increase the duration of the effect of the Mohg's Great Rune that increases the attack power when a bleeding status effect is triggered by a nearby summoned spirit. I don't use that Great Rune often, but I feel like some of them could be better. And honestly, I wish they just allow us to use them in PvP. I think it would just be so useful. I'd use Millennia's, Morgoth's. Like, it'd be fun to try them all out and make different builds with them. Decrease the heal amount reduction from the Flask of Crimson Tears and increase the heal on attack effect when using Millennia's Great Rune. Interesting. So they nerf your Flask if you're using Millennia's Great Rune, but they increase the heal on effect of it. That could be something to play around with in PvE. Could be different. Go for like a regen, constant attack build. Increase the power of arrows, great arrows, bolts, and great bolts that can be crafted through the item crafting. Okay, so any ones that can be crafted got a buff. I don't know exactly which ones those are, but I feel like they could use it. Decrease the turning speed of dual-wielded weapons for the following weapon types. Spears and great spears, just those two classes. I want to test if I can strafe dual-wield spears. That would be so handy, because you can backstab it pretty easily if the connection is there, but like on latency it's harder. We'll see how well it tracks now. Decrease the effect that increases the power of spells of Terra Magica. A nerf to wizards. I welcome more. Decrease the effect duration of the Cerulean Hidden Tier. And there's another one. Nice. All right, now these are specifically just the armament adjustments. So we have Troll's Knight Sword, increased damage. Fair. I never use that. Zammer Curve Sword, increased damage and increased movement distance. That's going to help it immensely. In fact, I might like it now. I like its moveset, but you didn't move enough when you did the light attack chain. You just like stayed almost stationary spinning. If they gave you a lot more forward distance, it would help it. Fork Hatchet, it needs the buff. Ripple Blade, they decrease the status buildup enhancement that scales with the arcane attribute. So maybe they won't sleep you in 2 to 3 hits anymore with the sleep grease. This is welcome. Although, oh yeah, Ripple Crescent Halberd. I confused those, but it got the same nerf, it seems. Decrease the status buildup enhancement that scales with the arcane attribute. Yep. Serpent Hunter, increase the speed of crouching attacks. Increased the speed of crouching attacks. Do they mean decreased? It has like the fastest crouch attack in the game. I'll have to check that out. That's hilarious. That's basically its moveset. Just crouch attack. Oh, they actually buffed some staffs. The Albinoric staff got a buff. The Gelmir Glintstone staff, Prince of Death, Golden Order seal, Clawmark seal, and Dragon Communion seal. This one didn't need a buff. I'm just going to throw that out there. That means Dragon Breath's going to be hurting even more. That's pain. But the other one's definitely a welcome buff. I don't see anybody use these very often. Now we're on to skill adjustments. They buffed Kick. Honestly, I always said if you gave it hyper armor, it would be good because you can tank through shield poke, guard break them. You can kick and stun. It doesn't hurt them really, so it's pretty balanced to give it hyper armor. I'm hoping they gave it a good amount. For Spinning Slash, they decrease the status buildup of your weapon when using the skill. Okay, I thought so because they nerfed the damage, but the real dangerous thing of Spinning Slash was the weapons that are fast and get the 3 true combo hit, and it just builds up the bleed, frostbite, poison, whatever you have on your weapon. It's kind of like an instant stat proc. Storm Assault, Stormcaller, and Storm Stomp all got their poise generation speed decreased, probably so you can't just react trade with L2. Like Storm Stomp, you could pretty much tank most weapons by just hitting L2 when you've seen the attack coming out, and you got to follow up heavy attack on most weapons. It was definitely too strong. That's a fair balance. Glintblade Phalanx decreased poise damage. Yeah, you know what? Those stun me a lot. I like projectiles in general to just do less poise damage. Allows for less blendering. You still take the damage, but it won't allow their teammates to stun you. Bloody Slash decreased the poise generation speed. For Bloody Slash? Honestly, I've never used Bloody Slash in a situation where I'm trying to poise someone, so that's interesting. Strong Shot increased the speed. Yeah, the bow, Ashes of War, other than Rain of Arrows, they need some love. Sky Shot increased the speed. Yeah, see, because they never used. Enchanted Shot increased the speed. Yep. All the parries here, well, except for the better parries like Golden Parry, you got a buff. Increased parry hitbox for Parry, Storm Wall, Thop's Barrier. And the Buckler got added attack recovery time after using the skill. So it kind of got a nerf then, right? Yeah, added attack recovery time. Oh my god, they nerfed Taker's Flame. This has like been kind of untouched. It's so good because it knocks you down, it heals you, and it does immense damage. So they decrease the fire's poise damage. Okay, that's huge. Hopefully enough that you can maybe poise through it. I'm just always a fan of magic and things not stunning from afar. Just my bias allows you to get blendered and just teamed on so easily. Removed the fire's knockdown effect. Oh, I'm surprised they got rid of the knockdown. Although if they nerf the poise damage, what would be the point if it knocked you down, right? So yeah, makes sense. Moonlight Greatsword increased the poise damage of heavy and charged attacks, but decreased the poise damage of the generated magic waves. See, I'm fine with that. I expect to get stunned when a Greatsword hits me. It's just rough when the magic wave hits you and it stuns you so long as well. Like Moonveil stuns you so long. Thunderclad form decreased poise damage, probably so it doesn't just like stun you on reaction when you go into the cloud. That makes sense. Magma Shower decreased the poise generation speed for Magma Shower, huh? I don't use it enough. I didn't notice if it was a problem. Thunderstorm decreased damage on Thunderstorm. Yeah, that's fair. They decreased the poise damage on it as well, so that's going to be something interesting to see. Bubble Shower decreased damage on Bubble Shower? The Ash of War on the horn? That's surprising, honestly. I haven't been hit by it enough for it to be a problem. I don't know. I command thee, kneel. Increased the poise value during the active part of the skill. That's nice. It was very underused. And decreased the poise generation speed. Decreased it, really? I'll have to test that one out. Because it seems like you can tank more now, but it's slower on startup. So we'll see. Ah, they nerfed Blood Moon Ritual. Made the bleed buildup worse. Decreased the generated status buildup. Yep. Loretta Slash decreased the poise generation speed. Yeah, you could react a lot of people with Loretta Slash and poise trade and just use the whole ash on them. Pretty strong. Bear Witness. Yeah, this needs as much as it can get. Contagious Fury decreased the amount of attack power generated by the skill. Really? All right. Well, that's the changes to the Ashes of War, it seems. And then they have some bug fixes. I wonder if I've seen some of these. In the inventory, they added the amount of FP consumed for the skill in the Ash of War display information. Oh, interesting. Reduce the time it takes for some gestures to become cancelable. Oh my god, that's huge. There's nothing worse than being locked into the start of a gesture when you're trying to wave and you just get jumped on. Adjust the input speed in some menus, such as conversation menus, to prevent accidental skips. As long as you don't slow down my weapon menu, I'm happy. Fixed a bug that caused damage to the player and friendly summons when using the Last Rites skill under specific circumstances. I myself never encountered that. Fixed a bug that caused higher than expected poise damage when performing left-handed attacks with thrusting swords. I definitely experienced that. Fixed a bug with spinning slash skill that generated poise when using twin blades. Yeah, it was weird. The twin blade could sometimes hyper armor through things that most other light weapon classes couldn't. Fixed a bug in the Queen's Black Flame skill that did not apply poise when using the skill. Fixed a bug where the characteristics of some weapons were not working properly against mounted enemies. I don't usually fight a lot of the horseback enemies lately. I'm going to fight everything in the DLC, but in the main game, I just kind of run by to what I need. Fixed a bug that caused bleed buildup when using spinning strike skill while under the effect of the Blood Flame Blade skill, even if the attack did not hit the enemy. Really? I don't think I've ever experienced that one. That's a weird one. Fixed a bug that caused some skill to perform incorrectly when specific actions were performed. Maybe this is weapon swap glitch. Caused some skills to perform incorrectly, like putting the Serpent Hunter onto the chainsaw. Fixed a bug that caused unexpected behaviors when some incantations were used in quick succession. So like chain casting in a way, maybe? Fixed a bug where the Spectral Steed did not trigger a death fall under circumstances. That's funny. Fixed a bug that prevented players from getting hit by other players under certain circumstances. Like what? Fixed a bug in the Colosseum that allowed critical hits against players in specific death animations. Oh, where you could like chain backstab them while they have the Deathblade animation. That's funny. Fixed a bug where the Mimic Veil's effect was not properly reflected to the other players under certain circumstances. Okay. Fixed a bug that caused other players summoned as hunters to immediately return. I've experienced that. Blue will get summoned and it says he's returned home because his task was complete. Fixed a bug in multiplayer where some spirits could be locked on even after they were disappeared. I get that all the time, actually. That one wasn't rare. Someone's dead body would be in my way constantly, and I could lock on afterwards for a period of time. Improved multiplayer stability under certain circumstances. Wonder what that means. Better connection somehow under certain circumstances. Fixed a bug that caused specific maps to render differently than expected under certain circumstances. That happens to me, and it's been in my last videos a few times, yeah, where I spawned in to the Magic Academy and all the walls were like not there. Fixed a bug where the damage of some equipped weapons were incorrectly displayed in various menus. Didn't notice that one. Fixed a bug that prevented marking sites of grace in the map under certain circumstances. Fixed a bug where the names and the cursor were not displayed correctly in the inventory menu under certain circumstances, and fixed a bug where event actions were available while being in the map menu. Fixed a bug in the map menu that caused specific terrains to be displayed differently from the actual terrain. And then the Steam-only adjustments changed the initial layout of key settings in keyboard and mouse settings. And that's gonna do it. Honestly, lots of changes. A lot of the strong ashes took some nerfs. It's going to be interesting to see the poise damage changes. That one's going to need some in-depth testing. And we also have the release of the DLC today. So I'm going to be going to bed, actually, because I'm going to be up at midnight for the release of the console edition of Shadow of the Erdtree. I was debating between PC and PS5, but PS5 just has much more stable connection. My invasions are always pretty good. I don't get high latency, so I'm going to prioritize console first, I would say. Just because I want to have my invasion builds ready to go right after we beat the DLC, so you guys can, make me test every weapon. I like doing that pretty early on when the game came out. I'd like doing that now for the DLC. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I will see you guys at midnight for the release of the DLC. If you guys want to tune in, I'm just going to be live on YouTube. I'm going to learn to dual stream, I think, but we're going to start out on YouTube just because I have it all set up for my usual streams. I'll see you guys really soon. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye. Goodbye.